Welcome to the 97 Republic YouTube channel, where I react to UFC news and live events. So I kindly ask that you hit the like button and the subscribe button, as that will really help this channel grow. And to ensure that you don't skip a beat, feel free to click the notification bell. That way you can guarantee that you don't miss any of the action. I really hope you enjoy this. Ranking the top 5 knockouts from fighters that are participating on the main card of UFC Fight Night, Vettori vs Dolidze. And out of this series of top knockouts, this was by far the easiest one, due to the fact that, well, the knockouts has to be within the UFC. And seeing that Kevin Vallejos is making his debut, he's ruled out. Dr. Nurgozai making his debut, he's ruled out. Marvin Vettori, even though I predicted he'd beat Dolidze once again in a video that you could just click on that link and you can visit it, ruled out. Due to the fact that out of Marvin's 15 fights within the UFC, he's never recorded a knockout victory. Kurt Holloway, same story. No knockouts for Kurt Holloway, he's ruled out. Cody Gibson, even though he has had a knockout win, was odd. It was weird viewing, so he's ruled out, leaving us with 7 fighters. So 7 fighters that basically I take their best knockout, match them up against one another. That gives us this list. At number 5, Song-Woo Choi versus Julian Erosa. So Song-Woo Choi made his debut inside of the UFC. Went on to lose his first 2 fights within the UFC, but keep in mind his debut was against Movsar Evloev. Tough business. Went on to lose his second fight, but then after that, went on a 2-fight winning streak, where one of those victories came over Yusuf Zalal, who recently beat Calvin Kattar. So an impressive victory for Song-Woo Choi. Then in his third fight, July 19th, 2021, Song-Woo Choi versus Julian Erosa. And in the first round, Song-Woo Choi threw a straight right, followed by a left hook, catching Julian Erosa, sending him to the ground, and then basically finished the fight in that sequence. A left hook that felt like it was missing narrowly for the entirety of the fight, which wasn't long. But at the end of it, didn't miss that time, catching Julian Erosa flush with that left hook, sending him to the ground, and then winning the fight via TKO. That is why Song-Woo Choi is number 5 on this list. Then number 4 on this list, Roman Dolidze versus Khadija Ibragimov. So setting the scene, July 18th, 2020, a 6-0 32-year-old Roman Dolidze made his debut against Khadija Ibragimov. And in the first round, it looked like Roman Dolidze was trying to throw a body kick. And for some odd reason, Khadija thought probably that Roman was throwing either a punch to the head, it felt premeditated, ducked into it, and unfortunately for Khadija, ducked into Roman's knee, with the screenshot looking like he wants to bite Roman's knee, and basically got knocked out. Now got dropped to the ground. Roman Dolidze then had a few shots just to put the cherry on top. And after the knockout, you could see Khadija turning his head, looking at Roman Dolidze. The man had no idea where he was. A devastating knockout, which feels like, even though it might be a little bit lucky, it is devastating. I mean, that knee caught as flush as you could possibly get, handing Roman Dolidze the number 4 spot on this list. Then at number 3, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos versus Luigi Vendramini. Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos made his debut in 2015. Yes, 2015. It's a long time ago. Elizeu has been in the game for quite some time. Made his debut in 2015. Went on to lose in his debut. Then after that, went on a 5-fight winning streak, beating the likes of Max Griffin, Lyman Good, and Sean Strickland via knockout. And in this 6th fight, in this current run of form that he had at the time, in this 5-fight winning streak, in that 6th fight, he fought Luigi Vendramini. And what ended up happening was Luigi threw a low kick at Elizeu, and ended up hurting himself. And as he started backpedaling to the fence, got caught with an ungodly knee. Now, even though the knee didn't end up knocking Luigi out, the two consecutive shots following that knee did. So after the knee, Luigi still stood on business, and then after the two punches, he laid on the floor. A devastating knockout for Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. Even though it wasn't the knee, that follow-up shot was devastating. Had Luigi fall in a somewhat awkward fashion, lying against the cage of the octagon, lying on the floor, knocked out, not the most pleasant visual that you would have whenever you see this fight. An impressive knockout nonetheless for Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos, and by far the fighter who has had the most impressive knockouts. And definitely the most difficult one to pick was Eliseu's knockout victories within the UFC, but I do think it's this one. I think it's better than the Sean Strickland one. That is why it is at number 3 on this list. Then at number 2, Alexander Hernandez versus Beneil Dariush. Yes, Beneil Dariush. March 3rd, 2018. Alexander Hernandez made his debut inside the UFC. So we have Alexander Hernandez and Roman Dolidze both featuring on this list in their debut fight. It is insane. He made his debut on March 3rd, 2018 against Beneil Dariush, and there was a lot of hype surrounding Alexander Hernandez at the time, especially within the lightweight division, due to the fact that he was 25 years old, very young guy. He had a record of 8-1. He was an explosive striker, had a lot of speed behind those strikes, devastating knockout power. Felt like he said his idol was TJ Dillashaw, and in his movement tried to replicate what TJ was all about. So there was hype behind Alexander Hernandez, and we found out the hype was warranted due to the fact that he knocked out Beneil Dariush, uncorked a left hand that knocked Beneil out clean, as clean as you would probably see within the UFC, warranting all that hype. It was insane. Entering the void, catching Beneil with that left hand, send him to the floor, and then it was over. It was over. It was clean. Anthony Hernandez was the hype was justified, and then we later found out UFC is a different animal. But that knockout win, giving Alexander Hernandez the number 2 spot on this list. And at number 1, Shitty Njokuani versus Dusko Todorovic. Now, Shadi fought on Dana White's Contender Series in 2021, went on to beat his opponent in the 3rd round via knockout, warranting him a UFC contract. And in his UFC debut, fought Marc-Andre Barriault and once again won via knockout, this time coming in the 1st round of the fight in impressive fashion, knocking out Marc-Andre Barriault. So then in his 2nd fight, Shadi Njokuani fought Dusko Todorovic, and in the latter end of the 1st round was in a clinch and caught Dusko with one of the most brutal elbows you would possibly see in this sport, catching him clean and knocking him out. Now, even though he wasn't knocked out clean, that elbow landed as flush as you could possibly ask for, landing on the temple of Dusko's head, sending him to the ground. Ref stepped in immediately. It was over. The fact that he had his hand at the other end of Dusko's head and that elbow landing, there's nowhere for that head to go, so all of that force is absorbed in that head. The fact that Dusko wasn't knocked out clean should be a testament to how durable he is. It was insane. Seeing it, I somewhat cringed because it was devastating. And that is why Shadi is number 1 on this list. Now let me know in the comment section, do I have the order correct, or is it flawed? Now, should someone be number 1? Is Shadi warranted at number 1? Is the order correct? And then do you think that all of these knockouts represent the best knockout from each fighter? Let me know in the comment section. I would really appreciate that. Have a beautiful day.